What's going on, everybody? And welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest of cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Times.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? Welcome to another week. So please continue to tune in. Remember, Monday and Tuesday are our topics. Wednesdays are discussion. And then Fridays, we talk about everything else. So all non-cyber related stuff, movies, books, TV shows, all that good stuff. But without further ado, I'll give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. This first one's from thehackernews.com, and it's our buddy Ravi Lakshmanan back again, right? So this one, the title of the article is Patch Now, Apple's iOS, iPadOS, macOS, and Safari under attack with new zero-day flaw. So you don't usually hear about this being something that happens with Apple so much. Ryan takes great pride in that. You know, I don't know if anybody knows that listens to the show, but Ryan is a very big Apple fan. So this one might hurt his heart a little bit, but you know, he'll take it. He'll take it as being how it doesn't happen as often.
It's all lies.
Doesn't happen as much as other OSs. I do got to give it to him, right? Like he got me to switch over because of the walled garden of security.
Walled garden, man.
There it is.
Protect over here.
There you go.
Most times.
Yeah, it happens. But anyway, Apple rolled out security updates for a zero-day that they had, right? That got exploited in the wild. It's been tracked. If you look at the CVE table, it's 2023-23529, and it relates to a confusion bug in WebKit browser engine that can be activated when processing maliciously crafted web content. So what it is, they actually put a 16.3.1 was the version for the iPhone, because Ryan actually made me aware of this and made me go check my phone. I check my phone often to make sure, you know, I got updates and whatnot, and this one slipped by before I could look at it, you know. Yeah, I went ahead and made this one happen too, but this one right here, it's not clear how the vulnerability is being exploited in the real world, but it's the second actively abused type confusion flaw in WebKit to be patched by Apple, right? So they had one last year. It was 2022-42856. Yeah, that one was closed in December of 2022. So when we say last year, we're talking a couple months ago. But with the WebKit flaws, though, the thing with them, they impact every third-party browser that's available on iOS, iPadOS, and it's because of Apple's restrictions that require browser vendors to use the same rendering framework. So because Apple says, hey, you all have to use a specific framework, that's what makes it easy for it to come on over and have this vulnerability that affects all the browsers across the board, right? Because everybody develops the same way to be in the Apple, I don't want to say network, the Apple hierarchy. How would you say that? The Apple
ecosystem?
Ecosystem. There you go. That's a better way of saying it. The ecosystem. That's what I'm trying to say. But they got it out there though. So they got it out there, and they patched it fairly quickly, right? So you know, my wife has a Mac as well, right? So I had to go and update that one as well, right? But they're telling users, look, please go out there and update, right? Make sure you update the 16.3.1 for iOS and iPadOS. macOS Ventura is 13.2.1, Safari 16.3.1 to mitigate the risk for this, right? But yeah, and then they give a rundown, right? So iPhone 8 and later, iPad Pro, iPad 3rd generation later, iPad 5th generation and later, iPad Mini 5th generation and later. Like it's pretty much, I'm gonna say everything they have that's decently new, right? Because like they're on iPhone 14 now, I think is what it is, right? I think it's
iPhone
it's 14. So I mean, they're going back 6 generations, you know what I mean, to say, hey, if you go back that far, which some people still have, right? Go ahead and make this patch happen, right? So but yeah, so Apple, I mean, they're having a little bit of a run on vulnerabilities, but I'll give it to them, right? So they do a decent job of keeping up with them, right? But I think whenever I switched over, I think everything followed me over to the iPhone, man. Right?
Brought us down.
Right, Ryan. That's what it is. It's me, right?
You brought us down.
Yeah. but it also states here Apple remediated a total of 10 zero-days spent in its software in 2022, 9 of which were disclosed as actively exploited by threat actors. 4 of those flaws were discovered in WebKit. So this WebKit vulnerabilities, man, it makes it a lush target for them because everybody has to use the same framework to get into the Apple ecosystem. But the patch is out there. If for whatever reason you guys and gals haven't looked yet, Go out there and make it happen. These 0 days, it's one of those things where you got to do it fast, right? When it popped up, they didn't wait on it, they didn't sit on it. So you got to get out there and make sure you're doing your part, right? Always check for updates on your systems. I would say, I mean, I'm being, to be generous, I'm not gonna say to be generous, but to be cautious, I'd say at least once a week be checking, but I check more often than that, you know what I mean? But make sure you guys are out there patching your stuff, all right? For all of you in the Appleverse, I guess you would call it, you know what I mean? Ryan, what you got to say about this?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And yes, I am the Apple lover out of the crew. We have so many Apple devices, man. Like everybody has a tablet and a phone. We got the computer. So what is it? We also have the Apple TV. So like we're very Apple centric in this household. So when I saw the vulnerability pop up, I immediately put in a group chat to the family, like, hey, make sure you're all up patching your devices. So I learned two things. Like, so thing one, Apple's simplicity or lack of diversity is definitely being used against them in this regard. Like, it's great that everybody's found the same suit. Apple has their own standards and protocols and what have you that everybody has to follow, but it impacted the entire Apple family with just one flaw. So there's a a ebb and flow to it, both pros and cons. But two, I'm past the tinfoil hat stage in my household, where when I put stuff like this in the chat, they don't ask me a bunch of questions. They just do it. So I was like, okay, I finally broken through. Either we're a way better at cybersecurity in the household, or they're just tired of hearing me talk about it. Either way, we're safe.
It's
That's all
good
that
either way.
matters.
It's good either way.
But yeah, by putting it in the chat and everybody, responding like, yeah, I took care of it, or oh, okay, I'm gonna do it as soon as I get home. This one didn't prompt. Like usually, I'll get like a icon. I'll say, hey, you need an update. Like I had to go find it myself. Which was unusual. I don't know if I was ahead of the curve or it was just going to wait till a certain time of day before it prompted me to update. Because usually you wake up and the update's already done. But this time I had to go into general settings and then search for updates. And I was like, oh yeah, you have an update. I was like, that's weird. Like usually they take care of themselves. It's a pretty automated process. But yeah, definitely good on Apple for catching it so soon. I don't like that it was being actively exploited at the time. I don't know if that means that they're being slow about it, or people are just being that quick to jump on the ball and then start to actually use these exploits in the wild. Either way, Apple rolled it out pretty fast. But with that being said, usually when they do these, they call them they usually always call them updates. I never see a lot of hot fixes come from Apple, or it's a hot fix or hot patch. It's hot fix, right? When you push a patch out immediately. I usually don't see that terminology used by Apple, so that could just mean they don't like using the terminology, or it may be perceived as being disparaging. But my phone was acting funny for a whole day after I patched it, so I had to restart it several times before it started acting right. Especially Siri. Siri's being extra unintelligent as an intelligent AI. Like she was not able to answer any of my questions.
So you say that, right? I don't know if you remember. I was telling you when I went up to 16.3 how mine was acting kind of funny, right? But this one's I've only had this one for a few days now since you let me know. And actually yesterday I was trying to use Siri and it was the same thing. Like I had, so this is why I was looking into switching providers, because I thought maybe it was something with my provider, but I don't know if it's the phone now. My phone may be a lemon. Maybe that's why I have all the issues I have.
I think you do have a lemon though.
Yeah, you're not the only one to tell me that.
I think you do have a lemon.
You're not the only one to tell me that. So like that, I know I told you this offline. All right, I'm gonna let everybody know, because y'all have seen me on here. If you watch the show, you see me on here talk about how I'm going away from Apple. I'm going away from Apple. I think I'm gonna ride it out to see what the iPhone 15,
what that 15 looks like,
what it's gonna look like, and then probably upgrade then. We'll probably switch providers before that, but I am probably gonna wait for the 15 to see what it is, and probably not go back to Android like I had been on for years, which I love Android. Hey, all you Android lovers, don't hate me. All right, don't hate me. I just want to see. I just want to get a look.
I'm gonna give you a prediction. It's gonna look just like the 14.
Well, no, I'm
like two more features.
No, and that's the thing. I don't have a 14. I have a 12, right? So I'm like 2 years behind anyway. So for me,
so I have a 12. I have a 12 as well.
Yeah. So I got the 12 Pro Max. So for me, it's like it will be different, right? Like, and there's different rumors on what it's gonna. Not to turn this into an iPhone discussion, right?
Right.
I'm gonna put a vulnerability real quick. So like, I looked into it a little bit, and it's just rumors on what's gonna come out, right? Like they usually do their iPhone releases in September.
Yeah.
There was one time they did October because of COVID, like it got pushed a little bit, supply chain issues and things like that recently. But like USB-C integration, different
They
things.
had no choice. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the EU, right? Like in America,
Yeah.
they're not saying you have to do it. So they could make two different versions. They could put one out there in
That's just not the Apple way, though.
I don't think so either. I don't think so
Yeah,
either.
it's just like, you know what, forget it. But we will somehow make it only our USB-C. You'd be like, how? How,
Right,
Sway?
right, right. So I mean, but it's rumor at this point, right? But there are people that have nailed stuff before it comes out. Before, like there's different Twitter users that are like, I think this is gonna happen. I think it's gonna happen. That have been pretty dead on, apparently. That are like, USB-C is going to be integrated in 2020.
Yeah, they really have no choice. They might as well get the ball rolling. And I kid, like Apple made, I think they said they made like $1 billion when they switched over from their old connector to the Lightning connector because everyone had to upgrade. In this regard, they can't do that, right? So they're going to lose maybe, but they weren't packing them in the boxes anyway. You're just getting a phone. You weren't even getting chargers anymore. They're just like, here's a product you can't charge.
So they weren't giving you charges, but you got a cable, right? I can't remember if
you did get a cable. Yeah, you didn't get the adapter anymore.
Right.
So they might that would be real petty of them. They don't even put the cable in there. Like figure it out.
Yeah, and then you still have to buy the brick. You know what I'm saying? The brick that
right.
and that does the,
and they got me on the big one, the one that charges faster.
Yeah, fast charging.
$25.
Yeah. I ended up getting, it's got the MagSafe, so I ended up getting the magnet on a stand that I could put up. Just lean it up. So it's cool.
I got that in the bedroom, but I don't know. Like, it doesn't. I don't. It says it's charging faster. I don't believe it's charging faster. It will recharge fast enough. So I'm just like, because I got the thing right. You buy the case with the ring on the back.
Yeah,
and it just seems just as fast. So I'm like, isn't it an improvement?
So I got the same thing. Mine is silicone though. So I got the
I might go with silicone next time because like they all 50. They whether it's silicone or hard plastic. So I'm getting the hard plastic. Then I'm getting the whole $50 worth, which is really a quarter is what they spent on making the case. But it's super stiff.
It's got the MagSafe thing in there too, though, right? So like it's got the whole
50 cents
technology.
50 cents.
You're right. They buying it in bulk, so they get the wholesale price, right?
Right. But yeah, it doesn't seem like I like how when I put the case on, did you get the little icon on the front? Like it knew you had the MagSafe case. I was like, that's very Apple.
So it does that when I charge it. It brings up the charging ring, but I don't think it didn't. It didn't.
So when you initially put that case on, it also recognizes that you have that. So a little icon will pop up on the front. It's weird. It only did it the first time I did it, and I took it off to try to show somebody, and it wouldn't do it again. And then one day I had to take it off to clean it, and it did it again. I was like, how do you know?
Yeah, it didn't do that. Maybe I just don't keep it off long enough. Very seldom. Like my phone looks brand new when I pull that cover off. Because I had the one that you have, the clear one. Because I have the blue. Like you had the same one that I got.
Yep,
like,
same phone. Yeah, except for I got the smaller version.
Yeah, I got that. I love that color. So they didn't have a silicone that matched that. So look at this, man. You got me talking Apple.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about Apple longer. We were talking about the vulnerability.
Look at you. Man, you suckered me.
You in there. You in the system now.
But I am going to wait. I am going to wait to see what the 15 does. Like what's really keeping me is Apple Music. Like it's so convenient and it works very well for me.
It does.
And when I switch providers, like the plan I would go to, they would pay for my Apple Music. No, I have Apple One, so I get which I figured this out this weekend. I actually get Apple TV in my Apple One, which I did not know that. Like I'm paying for it, and I just didn't know it. But I went and looked at the catalog. It still wasn't anything that interested me. So
yeah, but now it's free though.
That's true. If Verizon's going to pay for it, it's what it is, right?
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. But no, it's great news that you're sticking around. I got to land this one before we go over. But thank you for tuning in. It's always a great talk. Hit us up on our topics Monday and Tuesday, our discussion this week. Be pretty interesting. Hit us up on that Wednesday discussion. And Fridays, we talk about everything else. Hit up the website, or not the website, but we're on all the social medias by our name. Hit me up personally. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, and Twitter. Stay safe. Stay secure.